Good morning, everyone. I hope that you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, yesterday we were discussing about the meaning of corporate governance. We had also discussed what is to be discussed in the entire syllabus of corporate governance. And today, during the last phase of our session, we were discussing scope of corporate governance. So, we will continue with that scope of corporate governance. Then we will move on to the role of corporate governance. So we have already discussed meaning of corporate governance and how the corporate governance evolved in India. These two things we have already discussed. So under scope, the first one we had discussed yesterday was preparation for the company's financial statements, how the financial statements are to be prepared. So every company has to prepare a policy that how they are going to prepare their financial statements. Not only how they are going to prepare their financial statement, but who will be the authorities who will be checking or rechecking the financial statements which are being prepared by the lower authorities of the organization, whether it is correct or not. That we had discussed yesterday. So the second scope is internal controls and the independence of entities auditors. This is a very important point which talks about internal control. Internal control means within the organization, what is the machinery, what is the framework which has been prepared by the organization, which will take care or which will monitor that whatever financial statements that are being prepared in the organizations are correct, are not manipulated. There is no exaggeration, there is no misappropriation done in the preparation of these financial statements. So that who will be the person who is responsible for preparing these financial statements? Who is the person who is responsible for checking whether the statements are correct or not? And who is the final authority who will be approving that all the things which are mentioned in the all the figures which are mentioned in the financial statements are correct? So that is internal control. So every organization has to prepare a framework that these are the authorities who will be approving the financial statements, and that is the internal matter of the organization. Now the other part is and the independence of entities auditors. The auditors who are appointed by the organization, they should be independent. Independent means they should not be in direct control of the organization. Now, if a person is directly controlled by the organization, if the person is appointed by the organization, if the person is getting salary from the organization, it is very difficult for the person to go against the rules of the organization, because every time he or she will be under a fear that if he or she goes against the rule of the organization, or if a senior authority has made a mistake or purposely he has made a wrong financial statement, and if the lower authority comes to know about that, but the lower authority is supposed to report to that higher authority, and he is aware that if he brings it to the notice of the higher authority, then he or she may lose his job. The best option available for that particular person is that remain silent, keep silence on that particular issue, and do not report it to the higher authorities. This will happen if the person is being appointed is supposed to report to the higher authorities of the organization. And that's the reason why it is said that the auditors should be independent. So they should not be directly controlled by the organization or the CEO of the organization or the general manager of the organization. Then only we can expect that they will be transparent, they will be clear in their work. So whenever, now for example, a external auditor has been appointed by the organization or has been engaged by the organization. Now this particular person is not coming under the direct or indirect control of the organization. So he will audit, he will check all the financial statements entries with the supporting documents. Whatever problem he will come across during the audit procedure, he will prepare a report on that basis and he will submit to the higher authority without any fear, because he doesn't have that fear that if we bring it to the notice of the higher authorities, he may lose his job because he is not appointed by the organization. So that is why it is said that the corporate governance framework expects that the auditors are to be independent. They should be given enough authority that no problem, whatever you notice that this is wrong, immediately come to our notice, come to us and report to us that these are the wrongdoings that has been there in the preparation of the financial statements. No action will be taken against you. Now, this type of freedom should be given, this type of authority, this type of free hand should be given to the auditors who are working in the organization. So that is the second scope. Then only we can expect that there will be a good corporate governance structure in the organization. Otherwise, it will not. Next is a review of compensation arrangements for the chief executive officer and other senior executives. Now, again, here it is expected that there has to be review of compensation arrangements, not only of all the employees of the organization. Here, corporate governance is restricting itself to the higher authorities or chief executive. So the highest authorities, it can be the general manager of the organization, managing director of the organization, then CEO of the organization. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 senior most people of the organization, their compensation is to be reviewed. Reviewed against what? So reviewed against the performance of these people in the growth of the organization. Normally, what happens is that the lower people who are working in the organization, that is, the employees or workers who are working on the shop floor, or the executives or the junior managers, middle managers, senior managers, every organization, whether it's a small organization or it's a large organization, every organization, they have a policy of performance appraisal. Every year, the performance of all these employees are evaluated, and their increment, their transfer, their demotion, everything depends upon this performance evaluation. If the person is performing well, the person will be promoted in the organization, or he may be recommended for increase in salary. At the same time, the organization doesn't review the performance of the highest authorities. It is expected that those who are sitting at the top of the organization, they are doing their job well. And that's the reason why it is said that they come under the purview of corporate governance. Corporate governance structure doesn't go deep in the organization to check the performance of each and every organization. It restricts itself to the performance evaluation of the highest authority. If the general manager of the organization is getting paid, say, 50 lakh per annum or 1 CR per annum, what the corporate governance guideline says is that his performance shall also be checked by the organization, that whether under his leadership the organization is growing. If the organization is growing, if the organization is earning more and more profit, then yes, of course, that particular person, that is the general manager, is due for increments, due for increase in his package. But if it is the organization comes to know that under the leadership of this particular general manager, the organization is not making profit, then action shall be taken against this particular highest authority person also. It should not happen that general manager has been appointed for, say, 2 years or maybe 3 years or maybe 5 years, so he cannot be removed before that particular period. Everything in private sector depends upon performance, not only at the lower level, not only at the middle level, but it also happens at the highest level also. So if the person, if the general manager is not improving, then the person can be removed from the position. So that is the third point, that the compensation shall be reviewed. Why it should be reviewed? Whether the person, to check whether the higher authorities are making the organization profitable through their performance or not. If the results are positive, their compensation should be increased. If the result is negative, their compensation should be slashed. That instead of 1 CR or 50 lakh per annum, you should get this many rupees only, or this shall be your package. You need to come down on your package. So that is the review arrangements of compensation. Now, the next one is the way in which individuals are nominated for the positions on the board. Yesterday, we had discussed that before the emergence of corporate governance in India, the rules were very lenient related to appointment of director at the board level of any organization. The organization used to decide that who it shall include at the board level of the organization's board of directors. So we used to see that if, say, 10 board of directors are there in the XYZ company, we used to see that brother is one director, then sister is one director, wife is one director, son or maybe daughter is the other director, friend, childhood friend is there, relative is there, you can also be included in the board of directors. That used to happen when the rules were not very strict, or the rules were, we will say, rules were not very specific. But after the emergence of corporate governance structure, or now the recent corporate governance guidelines, the appointment the nomination at the board level of any member has to under the guidelines of corporate governance. That what shall be the qualification of the person? What shall be the experience of the person? What shall be the previous track record of the person? All these things are to be first reviewed, are to be first checked before appointing the person or before nominating the person to the board of directors of the organization. Earlier, these things were not there. It was up to the chairman, and chairman used to be the owner of the organization. So he used to decide whom to be included and whom not to be. Now the situation is not that. Now the rules are there, qualifications are there, experience is there, track record is to be checked. And then only you can include the chairman or the owner of the organization can include any new director at the board level of the organization. Now, the next one is the resources made available to the director in carrying out their duties. Now, earlier, what used to happen? The board of director used to be the group of family members or group of close relatives. The chairman or owner used to take all the decisions. He used to prepare all the policies and the policy papers. He used to send it to all the board directors who were family members or close relatives, and they were told to sign at a particular place. And they used to sign against their name on that particular policy document. Many a times without reading the policy document, because they were the their power was whatever the chairman is saying, you need to follow that. If the chairman is saying that sign on the blank paper, they used to sign on the blank paper, because that the chairman used to be the family head, and the entire family was there. If the chairman is the father and son is there as a director, then daughter is there, daughter-in-law is there, wife is there, brother is there. So everyone, because being the head of the family, they used to respect him, and they used to just blindly sign the policy document. So that used to happen. So there was no responsibility on the part of the chairman to share the supporting documents related to that policy document. That we have prepared this strategy for the growth of the organization. Now, every director nowadays has been given a right that he can counter the decisions, counter the policies of the chairman also. And for that, he can ask for supporting documents. The chairman is saying that next year we are going for diversification of our business. And in his presentation, he is saying that this decision of going for diversification is going to be very profitable for the organization. That is what he has discussed or he has presented in his presentation, the chairman of the board of directors. Now, one director feels that I want to check on what basis you are saying that the decision to go for diversification is profitable for the organization. Show me the proof, show me the evidences, show me the research you have carried out, show me the supporting document which on the basis of which you have prepared this presentation. And it is compulsory on the part of the chairman to show all these documents to that particular director. And once the director is satisfied, then the director can sign, or if he is not satisfied, he is given the authority that he may not sign, he can reject that particular decision also. So that is what here we are saying. the resources made available to the directors for carrying out their duties. Whatever resources they want, if they want supporting document should be sent to them. If they want that there has to be a place, they should have a place in the organization, they should have a cabin in the organization, they should have a laptop in the organization, with a supporting staff should be there, so that they can in detail study the supporting document before signing the final document. All these resources, it is compulsory on the part of the organization that they shall provide all these resources. Then only we can expect that there will be transparency. Otherwise, what will happen? The earlier system will be there. That father is the chairman of the organization, all the family members are there, they are having dinner, father comes up with the file, and on the dinner table itself, he circulates the file and uh, 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 informs or instructs all the family members that just sign again where your name is mentioned in that particular document. And while having dinner, all the members, the file gets circulated to all the members, and all the members, uh, wherever they find their name, they sign against their name. So that system is avoided now. That system is not prevalent now. Now, most of the directors, when we will be talking about in the second unit, that how many directors shall be there in an organization, and what are the different types of director, there we will come to know that now it is compulsory that most of the directors of the organization who are included in the board of directors shall be independent directors. That means they shall not be the family members of the organization. So that is the most important thing, that as now they are independent, they are not brother, sister, son, daughter, or wife of the chairman. They are independent people. So they are not directly or indirectly connected with the chairman. They are not supposed to follow the orders of the chairman blindly. They all are given the responsibility, given the authority that they can question any decision taken by the senior authorities of the organization. And without their approval, the decision cannot be implemented. As majority are independent, if they decide that they are not going to sign on a particular policy document, that policy cannot be implemented in the organization. That is the authority, that is the change because of the existing corporate governance structure. Now, the next scope point is oversight and management of risk. Oversight means monitoring. These board of directors and the various committees which we will be discussing in the coming lectures, these board of directors and committees, their role is oversight role, monitoring role. That okay, corporate governance guidelines are there. The organization has displayed those guidelines on its website also. At the entrance on the notice board also it is displayed. But whether the organization is actually implementing those guidelines of corporate governance in its day-to-day working or not, that is to be monitored by the various committees which are prepared by the board of directors of the organization. And that is called as oversight and management of risk. Oversight is monitoring. Management of risk is that how we can avoid risk or manage risk. That if something is not going in a positive direction, and if the committee appointed by the board of directors for monitoring the working of the organization immediately comes to know that if these decisions are implemented, that is not going to be profitable for the organization, so they can immediately take a corrective action against those decisions. So they will not be waiting for 1 year. They will not be waiting till the general board meeting of the organization. They will not be waiting till the board of director meets after 3 months. We will see that what action shall be taken. The moment they come to know that this particular decision is going to be making loss for the organization, immediately they can take a corrective action. And this is how they can manage the risk. And that is what management of risk is. So that was related to the scope of corporate governance. Now we will move forward with the role of corporate governance. Corporate governance ensures the efficient use of resources. Now here we are not only talking about the physical resources, here we are talking about the resources which are in terms of human resource. So all these resources, human resources and physical resources, both are taken into account. Now, efficient use of resources. Efficient use of resources means you are efficiently using the physical resources as well as the human resources. Now, efficient use means that if presently the employees are working in a 8-hour shift, now if we want more productivity, then organization comes with a policy that from next month the shift timing will be 9 hours or the shift timings will be 10 hours. The idea behind is that within a period of 8 hours the productivity at this level, so if they are spending 2 more hours at their workplace, definitely their productivity will be more, output will be more, and that will be adding profit to the organization. Now, this type of thinking cannot be called as efficient use of resources. That will be called as exploiting the existing resources. So, for efficient working, the organization has to come up with such a design, such a policy that how they can improve the productivity of their employees within that shift of 8 hours only, by implementing various, say, by giving them various facilities, by sending them to different training programs, by providing them, say, good raw material, good machinery, good environment. So that thing will make it efficient use of resources. Using the human resource for more hours doesn't mean efficient use of resources. So the resources are to be efficiently used, not exploited. That is to be checked, and that is the role of the corporate governance. Whether the employees are paid whatever has been promised, whether they are getting the incentives for extra production, whether they are getting increments or promotions if they are performing well. All these things are to come under the role of corporate governance. Now, the next one is it provides for choosing the best managers to administer scarce resources. Best managers are to be chosen to manage scarce resources, the resources which are less in quantity. To manage those resources, your best managers should be appointed in that particular position. It should not happen that one person who is close to the general manager, he is appointed at a key position. So key positions or all the positions in the organization, there the managers should only be appointed solely on the basis of merit, solely on the basis of their track record, only on the basis of their performance, and not on the basis of how close they are to the general manager of the organization, or how closely they are related to, say, uh, one of the director who is sitting in the board of director of the company. So that will make the organization, say, off the track. Next one, it helps managers remain focused on improving performance and making sure that they are replaced when they fail to do so. Very important point. Now, one thing we all will agree that if the job is too much secured, too much secured, 100% security is there, then as a human being, the performance tends to be low. Because, for example, if I get a job and on day one, if I receive a guarantee that I'm not going to lose my job, performance becomes secondary for me, because I have a feeling in my mind that whether I perform or not, I'm going to be there in my job. My job is 100% secured. It is very difficult for the organization to remove me because of various rules and regulation, various laws, various technicalities involved in it. So the organization is not going to remove me. The moment I get this type of thinking as a human being, I become complacent in terms of my performance, in terms of my working. So whether I am completing my task or not, that becomes secondary for me, because primary thought under my mind, in my mind, is that my job is secure. And the moment this type of feelings comes in the mind of the person, he or she becomes complacent with the work. They start compromising with their work. They are less focused towards their work. And the best example is the government organizations. All the government organizations we can see, or if not all, most of the government organization, we can very easily see that when the employees are given a guarantee of a secured job, you go to any government offices, suppose you want to make corrections in your Aadhaar card, go to a post office, go to a government office where that facility is available. The your work is of just 5 minutes, but you will see that you need to repeatedly go to that particular office for maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days, to get your 5 minutes work done from that particular office. Why? Because people sitting there, they are having job security. The first day he will say that the concerned person is not available, come tomorrow. If you go there tomorrow, then the person will say, now the system is very slow, we cannot help you out. You can either wait for 2 3 hours or come again. When you go there, then again some other problem is there. Right now, no electricity is there. Then again, their system failure is there. So n number of excuses will be given by the person, because the person is not focused on his work. The person is focused on one thing, that his job is secure, whether he's working or not. And go to a private organization. For example, you go to a nationalized bank, you go to Bank of Maharashtra, you go to Central Bank of India, you go to State Bank of India, and then you go to ICICI Bank or Axis Bank, HDFC Bank. You will find a different, total different work culture. And that is why, because of this, that they are having a feeling that they cannot be replaced. And in private sector, there is a feeling that they can be replaced if they are not working. And that is the importance of corporate governance, because it all depends upon performance. If you are not performing, whether you are lower level, at lower level, whether you are at middle level, whether you are at the highest level, you are sitting in the board of directors also, and if you are not performing, you will be removed from the board of directors also, because that is the structure of corporate governance. That are the guidelines of corporate governance. If the organization is following the guidelines of corporate governance, their rules will be on the basis of that only. So it helps the manager to remain focused on improving performance and making sure that they are replaced if they fail to do so. Every year, their performance evaluation is done. The managers who are performing well, they are recommended for higher salaries, they are recommended for promotions. And the managers who are not performing, they are recommended for better training programs. And if after training also they are not improving, they are removed from the organization. Same when we will be in unit number 2, when we will be talking about this uh, the role and responsibility of people who are included in the board of directors. There we will come to know that this performance evaluation or performance appraisal is applicable to the board of directors also. If 10 people are sitting in the board of directors, all the 10 people, their performance individually will be evaluated. That director 1, director 2, director 10, individually their performance will be evaluated. How it is evaluated, that we are going to discuss in unit number 2. During that particular session, uh, we will discuss that what are the parameters which are framed for evaluating the performance of the directors. And the director, if he or she is not improving, then the rule is simple: the person is to be removed and new director is to be appointed in the board of directors. So that thing is very important, that everyone shall have, because it is said that too much stress will lead to low performance. But researchers have also shown that no stress also leads to less performance. So not only high stress leads to less performance, but no stress also leads to low performance. So the researches which has been carried out, every research says that there has to be moderate stress, and under moderate stress we can expect good results. Moderate stress should be there, then only we are going to perform, otherwise not. For government organization, no stress is there, no stress. If no stress is there, then what will happen? No work is there. No performance pressure is there because no performance pressure. High stress is there. The person is worried that tomorrow I have to make the presentation for achievement of targets. I have not achieved anything. So he is constantly under that pressure. So for those days where he is under that high pressure of performance, he is not going to perform. So high pressure, no performance. Low pressure, no performance. So moderate stress, it is said, shall be there. For example, if there are no exams, a student taking admission in MBA first year, on the basis of attendance itself, it will be finalized that those who are having attendance more than 85%, they will be given O grade. More than 75%, they will be given A grade. And similarly, the other students, depending upon their attendance only, they will be given grades. Most of these students, because it's a human tendency, that they will concentrate on other things and they will not concentrate on studies. Why? Because the criteria is so lenient. Criteria says only go and punch your attendance and you will receive the degree after 2 years. So no stress. No stress means no performance. No performance means no learning. So, and that's the reason it is said that moderate stress should be there. Some sort of stress should be there. Then only there will be performance, otherwise there will be not. Now, the next one is it pressurizes the organization to comply with laws, regulation, expectation of the society. Under the guidelines of corporate governance, there are certain rules which are to be followed by each and every organization. If they do not follow the rules, what action can be taken against those organizations are also included under those loose rules, under those laws. So the organization is knowing that they have to follow certain rules. If they do not follow the rules, what action can be taken against them? Next one, it assists the supervisor in regulating the entire economic sector without partiality and nepotism. Again, very important. Nepotism, everyone is aware of. We normally hear this particular word in politics and in the entertainment industry, that a person is succeeding in politics because he has a support of his family. His father is a minister, and because the father is a minister, son gets the ticket of MLA. Son gets elected on the basis of the influence which the father is enjoying, and that is called as nepotism. Similarly, in the film industry, entertainment industry, also we normally see, sorry, normally hear that as the father is a superstar, easy entries are there for the son and daughter of those superstars. They need not struggle like common people, because they have a setting there. Their father or their mother is having a strong influence over there, and that is called as nepotism. So that used to happen early. All the board of directors, all the people used to be from the family itself. After father, the chairmanship used to uh, go to the son only. But now the chairmanship will go to the son, but son has to prove through his performance. Otherwise, the other members of the board, they may reject the chairmanship to the son, and some other person from the organization can be promoted to the position of CEO or managing director or chairman. So that is the importance of corporate governance guidelines. Now, the next one is it increases the shareholders' value, which attracts more investors. Thus, corporate governance ensure easy access to capital. Now, if the rules are very transparent, if we are, as general public, we come to know that these are the companies which are very transparent in nature. Their whatever decisions they are taking after thorough deliberations. All the researches have been carried out. It is not taken by a single person, it is not taken by a single family, but it is taken after thorough deliberation. It is taken after a good amount of research has been carried out, and then only the decisions are taken. In this particular organization, promotions are solely on the basis of, say, performance. It is not on the basis of how closely the person is connected to the higher authorities. If such type of news of a particular organization spreads outside, then it brings a good image for that particular organization. Now, for example, the moment we hear certain names, we come across that yes, this is the organization, although we may not be. Now, as you all are students, I am also not, I am associated with educational institute. There are certain companies. Now, the moment you hear the name of Amul, the feeling is that it's a company which is, say, created by group of people. It is not a family owned business, single family owned business. A number of people, they came together, and they are running this organization successfully. So here we come to know that these are, the moment we hear the name Amul, we come to know that this is an organization where everything will be good, where they will be following all the policies, all the rules and regulations. Because normally we hear in news, we read it in the print media, that the board of directors at Amul, one of the director who is representing the highest organization or highest body of Amul, he or she comes from the lowest employee level of the organization, lowest level. Normally, the board of directors are considered as people with high degrees or high experience or high track record, all these things. But Amul is a company where a chance is given to a worker who is at the lower level to be part of the highest decision making body. So that person can be part of those meetings, can get to know that what the company is trying to do, and or she is given a chance to share his ideas also, that what is going on at the grassroots level. Because workers are working at the grassroots level, the policy makers usually what they do is they sit in a AC cabin and they start preparing the policy by sitting at the AC cabin. They have never went to the grassroots level, shop floor level, and worked at that level to understand the problems faced by the grassroots level workers or employees. That's the reason why Amul has included one grassroots level worker to the topmost level body. So their problems can be can be discussed at the highest level. Otherwise, what will happen? Grassroots level, normal policy in the company is, if a worker is having a problem related to anything, he is supposed to go to the supervisor. Supervisor will try to solve the problem. If not solved, then the officer will solve. If not solved, then the next authority, then the next authority, then the next authority. So time get wasted and the person loses the interest itself. If your problem is not solved within a particular time, you will lose interest itself. There is a concept called justice delayed is justice denied. If you do not get justice within a particular period, then you feel that your justice has been denied. So similarly here, now you are not working in Amul, I'm not associated, I'm not working in Amul, but because whatever we have read about Amul, whatever we have listened from other about Amul, whatever you have seen on TV about Amul, on the basis of that, we have uh, made a image that this is a very good company. Everything will be as per law in this particular company. Now, such brand image attracts the investment for the organization. The moment I want to say invest, I want to purchase some shares, and the moment I come to know that the Amul share is available for these many rupees in my budget, whatever my budget is there, I check the list of companies which are available. So the moment I see Amul, then I will not see the other companies, because I have a brand image prepared in my mind that this is a good company where I can invest my hard earned money. Immediately I will invest. So this so you will see that Amul is a brand where the brand ambassadors for say if you uh, look at the competitors of Amul, Britannia is there, one of the competitor of Amul. Then other competitors are also there, but Britannia is one of the very strong competitor of Amul. So Britannia, they had appointed certain brand ambassadors. And who are these brand ambassadors? These brand ambassadors are celebrities who charges in crores for that particular advertisement. But in Amul, if you look at the advertisements of Amul, no such celebrities are involved. So they are saving there also. Why they are not investing money on these celebrities? Because they have created their brand image, and because of their brand image, they are getting investment. They need not to say spend extra crores on say advertisements. So because of now why they have, because of good policies. Now all these good policies, they fall under this corporate governance guidelines. What they are doing, how they are doing, whether they are following rules or not, all these things we come to know through various modes. And because of that, we prepare a brand of that particular uh, uh, company. For example, if we talk about Tatas, the moment we hear Tata, everyone gets a feeling that this is a company where there will be no wrongdoing. Everything will be as per the rules and regulations. And the moment, again, the attracting investment is very easy for Tata Group of companies because of the brand they have made. And how they have prepared that brand? Because of the good practices which they have followed. So this is the next role of corporate governance. It helps to increase the value of the organization. If the organization is following the rules and regulations, following the guidelines of the corporate governance, automatically they will have good value And if the organization is having good market value, they will attract investment also. Next is employees are more satisfied in the organization that follow corporate governance policies. That is what we had discussed. There are a number of examples that many people, they leave their job to join their dream companies. Existing job. Suppose there is one person who is working as a, say, a software developer in a reputed company at a salary of, say, 1 lakh rupees or maybe more than that. Now that person comes to know that there is a vacancy in Tata company, in say TCS. So if he is having a brand, his dream company is TCS, what he will do is he will immediately try to switch to that TCS company, even if the TCS paying him a less salary. There he was getting 1 lakh rupees, TCS is ready to pay him 70,000 rupees or maybe 80,000 rupees, but still the person wants to shift to that person. There are n number of cases related to this. Why? Because of the brand of the company. And how the company has prepared that brand? Because the company is following the corporate governance policies. And the last one is corporate governance reduces the procurement and inventory cost. Now, good corporate governance policies are there. What will happen? Less number of people will leave the job. If less number of people will leave the job, money will be saved of the organization on releasing the advertisement, on organizing the recruitment and training procedures, process. Then there will be amount saved on sending the new recruitees to the training and development. So all this will be saved if the organization is uh, using corporate governance policies. So corporate governance reduces the procurement and inventory cost. Now, the next one is the elements of good corporate governance that we will be discussing in the next session. Next session will be on Monday. So we will be having online sessions from Monday to Friday only. Saturday, there will be no session. So Monday, we will start with this element of good corporate governance. Thank you, everyone.